What's going on, Vikings fans? It's Mitch here of TheBottomLineView, here to give you my thoughts and analysis on the Vikings 2022 schedule, the tough matchups, the easy matchups, and my record prediction for the Vikings this year. If that sounds good, don't forget to spike the like button and subscribe to the channel for more BLV just like this. Also, hop in the comments section below and let me know how you feel the Vikings will do this season. Vikings fans, it's time to predict your 2022 record. Let's roll with week number 1, the Packers at home. I know how much you guys like to beat the Packers. So let's say you beat the Packers. Week number 1 in Minnesota. Your home field, big deal in week 1. The Packers will be without Davante Adams for the first time. And I do think that plays a role. I do think the lack of familiarity and chemistry that Aaron Rodgers may have with his weapons is going to hurt him in week 1. On those big downs, the red zone, third down, the big plays where he really needs his go-to target, he has yet to identify one early in the season. I think that helps you guys pull off the victory. Your new offensive scheme will be implemented and will run well. You have the same personnel, so there's not going to be too much in terms of figuring out rapport with the receivers, the quarterback, the running back, the tight ends, all that stuff. It's more so just implementing that system, which is just a slight variation on what you've already been running the last few years. So I think you guys should be good to go in week 1 and ready to roll and ready to score some points at home against the Packers, which gives you the edge. Week number 2, you play in Philadelphia, and it was not long ago that you went to the Rocky statue, the famous Rocky statue, and you made a mockery of the great Rocky Balboa. And I am not a fan of people that make a mockery of Rocky Balboa, the legend. So I am going to take the Philadelphia Eagles on Monday night. It's a Monday in Philadelphia, very rowdy crowd, very tough place to play. And you guys have a little bit of a rivalry brewing since that game, I feel like. I think the Eagles win because their defensive line can be dominant. They have one of the stronger, deeper defensive lines in the league, and I do question whether your offensive line can protect on the road in that hostile environment there. So I'm going to take the Eagles. Week number 3, you play the Lions at home. I think you win that game. You guys can run the ball, throw the ball, keep it balanced, keep the Lions off and on edge, and make life difficult on their defense. I also feel that your new and improved pass rush can impact Jared Goff in that game at home. Week number 4, you play the Saints. You guys just own the Saints recently. For whatever reason, in the biggest of games, you come through with the win. I'm going to say that you win this game even in New Orleans. You just have that confidence when you face the Saints. And without Sean Payton, I think you guys will win the game. Week number 5, the Chicago Bears at the Vikings. I'm going to say the Vikings win once again. Justin Fields, behind a very bad offensive line, traveling on the road, is not a good recipe against the Vikings. Now, Minnesota has struggled against the Bears in recent years, but this is the worst Bears roster I've seen in quite some time. You play Miami in Miami, week 6. I'm going to say you drop that game to Miami. I think there's a problem when it comes to you guys defending a lot of speed on an offense. And when it comes to Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle, they've got a lot of it at wide receiver, maybe the most of it. And even though it's Tua, I think Miami is good at home, and they can find a way to beat your secondary, because your secondary is a little slow for my liking. So I'm going to take that fast receiving core. Then you got the bye week. Now, this is the way I want to break it down. So I have you guys losing 3 or 4 games in a row here. I have you losing all these games. And there's been stretches where the Vikings in recent years with Kirk Cousins have gone through some stretches of some bad play. I think that could happen here, but I have these games down as losses. I could see you, and most likely you're going to win one of these games. Like, I think the Miami and Buffalo games are really tough games for you on the road. Especially Buffalo, because they're arguably the best team in football with the best quarterback in football. But I would be a little bit surprised if you did lose both the Arizona and Washington games. So just keep that in mind. I have you losing these games, 1 for Kyler Murray, Magic, and then 2 for Washington's pass rush. But I could see you pulling off one of these games. Like, you could be Washington or you could be Arizona, and then you just get an extra win on your record. Either way, though, I'm just going to go with that for now. And we'll talk about it at the end when I talk about your record. Week 11, you play the Cowboys. I think that you're going to win that game, get revenge from last year. It's pretty close. It could go either way. I think the Cowboys and the Vikings are very close in terms of how good they will be this year. Both teams have similar strengths and weaknesses. I think the Vikings, with the new coaching staff, Kevin O'Connell specifically, is going to give them a boost against Dan Quinn's defense. I don't know, though. Like, I give you the edge because you're at home. Week 12, you play the Patriots at home on Thanksgiving. I think you win that game. I'm a Pats fan, and I do think the Patriots could beat you guys. But I think it's a tough place to go on Thanksgiving in that environment and win. I also think the Patriots defense could struggle with your offensive attack, given your balance of Dalvin Cook and Justin Jefferson, who they don't have a clear answer of anybody to defend Justin Jefferson in this game. Week 13, you play the Jets. I think you win that game. So now you're on a little bit of a winning streak. You play the Lions in Detroit. I'm going to say you drop a game to the Lions this season in the division. I think they're a much better team this year. And Jared Goff has the capacity of not messing games up, which makes it close in the end, which they could just win by a field goal or whatever. Week 15, you play the Colts. I'm going to say the Colts beat you guys because of their running game. Jonathan Taylor's good. I think Matt Ryan at this point in the year will be hitting his stride as the Colts quarterback, and then their defense for the Colts is talented. I think it's a stronger unit than your defense. Week 16, the Giants. I think you beat the Giants at home on a Saturday. Let's say it's a bad Daniel Jones game. Week 17, you play the Packers in Lambeau. I'm going to say they win at Lambeau. And then week 18, you play the Bears. I'm going to say you sweep the Bears this year. So overall, your record for me is 9-8. And as I said in this little middle of the season here, I think you could win another game. Let's just say Washington. And then you end up at 10-7. So my record for you guys is rather 9-8 or 10-7. I could also see you at 8-9. So somewhere in that range is going to determine whether you just miss the playoffs or just make the playoffs. I have you as the second best team in the NFC North and a playoff team as a wild card right now. Let me know, Vikings fans, what you guys think. It's Mitch of The Bottom Line View. Appreciate you watching, and we will see you in the next video. Peace.